Welcome to Paulstoolbox. If you've seen the previous videos, this room was looking pretty ratty and I've been wanting to dive into this for a long time. We had glass behind here all the way around, mirrors, and I removed it. And I'm going to be building a cabinet right here to accommodate all of my wife's makeup and perfume and things like that. This right here was a mirror that went from corner to corner. I had a mirror on the same thing right here, corner to corner, and then over there. I took these two pieces off. I brought them down to a local glass place called North Lake Glass, and they do excellent work. Well, they cut both of these panels down and sanded the edges for $15 a piece, or $30 for both of them, which you can't beat that. I saved these mirrors instead of throwing them away and brought them down here, and they just cut them. So I would recommend that. This is 1/4-inch glass. I cut glass a lot of times myself, but at 1/4-inch mirrors, that's a little tricky. You can break it, and it's not worth it. For 30 bucks, I got them both done. All right, right here, I took and made a distress frame. I'm going to show you how to do that. This is real simple to make, and we're going to take the next one and put it up here. Let's get started. This is a dado cut, and you can use a dado blade to do this, or you can use a standard blade on your saw. Your carbide blade on your saw is 1/8 of an inch wide. So if you run 2 passes on this, you'll get 1/4 inch. That's plenty enough to set a mirror in there. This is actually 3/8 of an inch. I would have to run this past my saw 3 times or use my dado blade that's set up for 3/8 of an inch, and that's what I did. I used my dado blade for this. But I'm going to show you for a quick reference how you can do this with the saw and not have a dado blade. If you don't want to take the time to do a dado cut, you can always use a lap board like this. This is shiplap board. You can buy this at any one of your home improvement stores, and it has a dado already notched into it. So all you would have to do is cut it to the width that you want, and there you go. With my saw unplugged, I'm going to take my board, and here's my line. I want this line to be right on the inside of this blade. So this part right here is going to come off. I'm going to make one cut there, back it off, and run another cut, and if I need to, I'll do a third one. So I'll put my glasses on and my earplugs in. There's a tiny little feather there, but that doesn't matter. We'll knock that right out. So we'll bring this over just a little bit more if we want to and make that cut, or we can take and set it like this, unplug the saw. You can line up your depth right here. Bring it down a little bit, right to that. So it's 2 different ways. It just depends on how you want to do it. It's simple to do. Now we can take this and make our miters, and I'll show you how we put it together. I'm going to set this at 45 degrees because it's a 90-degree turn. Now, when you cut this and you get this measurement over, you want to make sure you measure from this point. Don't measure down here or you'll be way off. This is where you need to measure because your glass is going to come all the way up to the edge of this. So we'll take this mark right here once you make your first miter and measure off from that. I'm not going to get into this too far. I just want to show you a couple of things about this that are important. When you set up for your pocket screws, you want to make sure that this slot is not sticking out past the edge of your wood. If it is, then you're going to have a notch right here. So we're going to set this up where I need it. And I can put a hole here and here. And this is going to miss the edge here. I don't want to have it come out this part. So we'll put a hole here and one here. And now I have them spread out pretty good. It's not going to come past this. It's going to go into there. Craig makes a clamp that you put on there. You really want to have that clamp because that will hold it nice and tight. I can use it with other clamps, but this works better than anything that you'll use because it's made for it. Now it's nice and strong, and what I'm going to do is go make sure that all of this fits in my mirror, and if everything fits right, then I'll go ahead and glue it. I'll take this back off and glue it. But that's the beauty of this. I can put it all together, bring it over there and retrofit it, especially with a big mirror like that. And then I just come back and glue it when I'm ready. Now, this is so simple to do, guys. If you make a mistake on this, it's an easy fix. If this is too small, all I have to do is come back over and make my notch a little bit bigger. Now, it takes a little more time, but it's hard to mess it up. If this is too big, then I'll just take my pieces off because they're just screwed in, and I'll trim them to where they fit right. So if you want, when you make your measurement, take all your measurements, go ahead and make a 1/16 of an inch larger if you want it. Then you can come back and trim it before you glue it together. Or if you feel confident, make it the exact cut. The great thing about these pocket screws is they enable you to keep this thing tight. You can take it apart in the same position, put glue on it, and put it right back in place, and it's going to stay there. I have my measurements for my screws. Now I just need to mark them off on here, and we're going to route a keyhole in it so I can take and hang them on screws. I want the notch to start here and slide up here, so when I put my screw in and the frame sits down, it's going to hang on this part right here. So we'll start about an inch in. Okay. I'm going to go right from the inside of that line, plunge down, and bring it to the inside of this line. That's all she wrote. My screw head will go into there and slide up. Now I'll hit the other two. Well, we're ready to sand this thing. I'm going to round off some areas on it, the corners and different spots, to kind of make it look a little bit old. I don't want it to look brand new. We're going to do that, and then I'm going to stain it. I'm using my ROCKWELL Vibra-free sander. This is a great little sander. I'll have the link in the description box. You can get it on Amazon. And I order the pads from Amazon too, the disc for it. This is 100 grit sandpaper that I'm using for this. For this, I'm just using a white paint by Sherwin-Williams. This is a semi-gloss, and I'm using Varathane gray stain. I'll take my water and wet my rag, dip it in the paint. We're going to put the white on first. So what I'm doing is I'm wetting this down with water, dipping it in the paint, and rubbing it in. Then I'm going to come back over with the gray, and you see I'm rubbing it so you can see some of the grain through there. Now, if I was to just try to paint cedar, I would have to use a primer that would keep it from bleeding. But I'm not worried about this bleeding because I'm going to mix some gray in there and stain it. And I want this grain to bleed through. Once I have the white base on there, I'll come back over with a gray stain. This is a latex paint. I'll be able to put gray stain right over the oil-based stain. It won't matter. I can mix it in with this. It's not going to hurt it. So I don't have to wait a long time for this to dry. I'll just come back over and start immediately with my gray. Now I'll take a little bit of mineral spirits, put it in a cup, and I'm going to mix some stain or dip my rag in it and put some stain on it. You have your stain mixed with your mineral spirits and you just rub it on. And you can streak it heavier in some spots and lighter in others. And that'll bring out that grain as well as darken it up or put some color in it. So you streak it through, just like that. Give a nice look. You want to stain that inside lip because the mirror is going to reflect on it. So we're going to flip it over and make sure to get stain all over that backside. When you get to the corners, make sure you go one way and then the other way so your corners still look natural. You don't overlap this onto that. The grain's running this way on this one and the grain's running this way on the other board, so you want it to run the same way. On here I used some suction cups that I got from Harbor Freight. I just wanted to test them out because I have expensive ones that I use when I did granite work, but these work great for things like this. This was $7, $7.95 I think at Harbor Freight. I'll put a link in the description box. Great little tool to use when you're working with glass or anything like that. How you like that, girl? You like that? So let's set this on the side. Put our glazing points in here, okay? The glazing points are easy to install, and they're made for old glass windows or any type of glass window that goes into a frame, a wooden frame. In the old days, that's what we used to, how we used to install the windows. So you take this and you would set it right on the edge by the wood, and you push it in, and that piece right here, this back part, will hold it together. You my helper? Well, you can see that really wasn't bad, and I did this by myself. If I had somebody helping me, it would be a lot easier. My next step is to put this pop-in box up here and move the light so we can have our fixture in the center of the mirror right here. I'm going to be building doors behind you, some barn doors. I'm going to build a cabinet right here to hold my wife's perfume and soaps and different things. So that's going to be pretty cool. We have all kind of things that we're doing in this bathroom. I'm changing out the tub. I'm putting a jacuzzi tub in here. And I'm also putting a new shower enclosure, the whole thing. So make sure to check out these different videos. We're going to do step by step. I'm going to show you when we run into problems, what to do, how to fix things. I have a wall that's out over there. I'm going to straighten it out before I put my tub in here. So that can help you out. I will see you guys on the next project. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out paulstoolbox.com for all my archive videos. That's my website. I will be getting a Facebook page soon, so you can send me your projects, anything that you have. We're going to have all kind of giveaways, so make sure to drop a comment on me if you don't mind. I'll see you guys on the next project.